I've kind of known that I was going to be a musician my whole life. As old as you can be to kind of independently have thoughts about what you really want to do with yourself in terms of a career, you know, I was always thinking that I was going to do music when I started thinking about that kind of stuff. So I've never really thought about what else I would do. I don't really have a backup plan. I was probably 9 or 10 or something like that, and I was living in New Jersey at that time, so I was kind of regularly going to New York to see performances. I was doing the Manhattan School of Music pre-college at that time, and I got to see Chick Corea at the Blue Note, and I actually got to meet Chick backstage. I took a picture of him, I still have that picture, and it was great. I got to see Chick a few times, but I remember that performance was very, very, very memorable, and it was, you know, he was one of my idols at the time, still is. I love his playing, but he was really one of the first jazz pianists that I really, really looked up to when I was really young. So getting to meet him was pretty surreal, and I really, really, really enjoyed that experience. Sure, I mean, I could play September in the Rain.
Yes, thank you.
You know, going way, way back, James P. Johnson is one of my biggest influences. I think he's incredible. I've been, you know, exploring more of that idiom, kind of stride piano over the past 2 years after starting to go to the Juilliard School. And it's incredible music. I've been listening to James P., you know, of course, all the greats, Fats Waller. I've, you know, been listening to a lot of Art Tatum as well. Everybody, you know, he's the GOAT. But yeah, so yeah, definitely James P., definitely Art Tatum. One of my first huge influences was Bill Evans. He was one of the first jazz piano players I really fell in love with. And you know, when I was in like middle school and high school, I like listened to all his recordings and you know, learned a bunch of his tunes and stuff. I love Ravel, and I love Bach. I love Prokofiev, a lot of other classical composers. You know, I played classical a lot growing up, and they were really big influences on me. I still think they influence my jazz improvising and my writing as well. So yeah, I love them. Some other influences, you know, more modern influences. Fred Hirsch is a huge one. I'm lucky enough to study with him privately. I've been studying with him for about 6 years, and he has had a profound impact on me. Both just by listening to his music and then getting to study with him and interact with him. I was born and raised in the US. I've actually never been to Cuba. So I've talked to a lot of my friends who are also second generation immigrants, and they kind of feel a similar way where, you know, they're kind of a Cuban in America, but then when you're with your family, you're the American one. It's been an interesting balance. It's something that I definitely want to explore a lot more going forward, because there's such a rich history in Cuban music, and it's influenced jazz in so many different ways. It's definitely something I'm proud to have in my heritage.